So with my own family joining the church, when John Taylor first went over to the Isle of Man, I believe it was 1840 or 1841. And one of the first people he met was actually the cousin of my family members in Douglas. Douglas, if you get a chance to serve on the Isle of Man, it's the capital. And it's kind of the main port that you go into when you get to the island. When he got there, he met this, John Taylor met this cousin of my family. And, he was excited to meet this American minister who was going to preach to him. And, he came and taught my family, and little did he know that it had been my own ancestor, Charles Cowley. He had been, to several churches. He'd actually been excommunicated from some churches because, and according to his journal, it says he was seeking correct truth concerning the will of God, and they just weren't giving it to him. And so he had actually been part of the Wesleyan Methodist sect. He had been part of, I believe it was the Church of England sect. And his wife had had a dream several years before, and in her dream, an American minister had come and had taught them the gospel. And, when he came, he sang this song called Come to Supper. And, he came speaking the truth. And so when John Taylor went and taught them that very same evening, he started the meeting by singing this song, Come to Supper. And Anne had remembered it so well from her dream that she was actually able to sing it along with him, despite never hearing it before. And John Taylor taught them the gospel, and they refused to wait till morning to be baptized. They were baptized that very evening. I believe it was in October. And, several years later, and, many lives later, they ultimately immigrated back to the United States. And Charles Cowley was actually able to pay for a lot of the passage, from the Liverpool docks for a lot of those saints to come over. I believe that it was the Swanton that they crossed over on and ultimately landed in New Orleans. And so, definitely a history of miracles with my family. And it was amazing for me as a missionary to then, be called not only to the England-Manchester mission, but early in my mission I was actually called as one of 2 missionaries serving on the Isle of Man. Almost this place that's, very, very unique in its own right. And so hopefully you get, if you're serving a mission in England, Manchester, hopefully you get the chance to serve on the Isle of Man. It's really an incredible, incredible experience. And for me, being there, there wasn't a day that went by that I wasn't thinking about John Taylor, or thinking about Charles Cowley, or, a lot of the sacrifices that they had made. And it was amazing because one of the ladies that I taught who was baptized on the Isle of Man actually has a lot of Cowley ancestry. And so it was kind of neat to almost go back in a way and teach my own family and, for them to join the church. And, nearly most days of the week when I was speaking to people, they'd be like, Cowley, that's a Manx name, isn't it? And I was able to, be really quite proud of my heritage, coming from the Isle of Man.